Most people believe the key to getting rich is earning more money. But what if that's the biggest financial lie you've believed your entire life? Every day, millions of hardworking people wake up early, work longer hours, chase promotions, and still stay trapped in the same financial cycle while others quietly build wealth without working harder. So what do they know that most people never learn? The answer isn't hidden in a secret investment or a lucky opportunity. It's buried deep inside the way they think about money. And once you see this hidden mindset shift, you'll never look at your paycheck, your job, or your financial future the same way again. In this journey, you'll discover why the rich teach their children completely different lessons than most families do, why earning a high income doesn't guarantee financial freedom, how invisible habits silently decide whether money stays with you or disappears, and why the biggest obstacle between you and wealth may not be your bank account at all. It may be the beliefs you've carried for years without even realizing it. But here's the fascinating part. Each lesson builds on the one before it, and the final chapter reveals the most powerful principle of all, the one idea that has transformed the lives of countless self-made millionaires. If you miss that final lesson, you'll miss the piece that connects everything you've learned along the way. As you watch, pay attention to the moments that challenge your own beliefs, because those are often the moments that change lives. If one idea makes you stop and think, let me know in the comments. Share this video with someone who's working hard but still wondering why wealth feels so far away. And if you're ready to train your mind to think differently about money instead of simply chasing more of it, subscribe now. Because sometimes one new way of thinking is worth more than years of hard work. Chapter 1. Why the rich think differently about money. Have you ever wondered why two people can earn the exact same income, yet one becomes wealthy while the other struggles for decades? Most people assume the difference is luck, education, or talent. But here's something surprising. It usually starts with a single belief about money. Imagine two young boys growing up in the same neighborhood. Both go to school, both hear adults talking about money, and both dream about having a better future. But one boy constantly hears, study hard, get a secure job, and work for money. The other hears something completely different. Learn how money works, and one day money will work for you. At first, those two ideas sound almost identical, but over time they create two completely different lives. This is one of the most powerful lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The book isn't really about being rich or poor. It's about the way we think. Because before your bank account changes, your mindset has to change. Think about it. Most people spend years learning history, science, and math. Yet almost no one is taught how money actually works. We learn how to earn a paycheck, but not how to build wealth. As a result, millions of hardworking people spend their entire lives trading time for money without ever asking a simple question. What happens if I stop working? For many people, the income stops immediately. Now picture someone who owns businesses, investments, or valuable assets. Even while they sleep, those assets continue producing income. That's the difference between working for money and creating systems that generate money. Here's the interesting part. Wealthy people don't necessarily work less. In fact, many work incredibly hard, but they focus their energy differently. Instead of asking, how can I earn more this month? They ask, how can I build something that keeps paying me for years? Look at entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos. Before Amazon became one of the biggest companies in the world, he wasn't thinking only about his next paycheck. He was building a system that could grow far beyond the hours he personally worked. That long-term thinking changed everything. Most people never make this mental shift because society rewards short-term thinking. We celebrate salaries, promotions, and expensive purchases. But real wealth is often invisible at first. It grows quietly through smart decisions made consistently over many years. So here's your first challenge. The next time you think about money, don't ask, how much can I earn today? Instead, ask yourself, what can I build today that will still create value 5 or 10 years from now? That single question may feel small, but it has the power to completely change your financial future. And once your thinking begins to change, you're ready for the next lesson. Because even people who earn a great income can remain financially trapped if they don't recognize the hidden habit that's quietly keeping them poor. Chapter 2. The hidden trap that keeps people poor. What if the biggest reason most people never become wealthy isn't low income, but the choices they make the moment they get paid? Think about this. Imagine two friends who both receive a raise at work. One immediately upgrades to a bigger apartment, buys a newer car, and starts spending more because it finally feels like they deserve it. The other keeps living almost the same way and quietly invests the extra money into assets that can grow over time. 5 years later, their lives look completely different. The first person has a higher salary, but also higher bills, more debt, and more financial stress. The second person may not look richer on the outside, but behind the scenes their investments are working every single day. The gap between them didn't appear overnight. It was created by small decisions repeated month after month. This is the hidden trap Robert Kiyosaki warns about. Most people believe earning more money will solve all their financial problems. But if spending grows every time income grows, financial freedom never arrives. The finish line keeps moving farther away. Now consider something most people never question. Why do so many people buy expensive things they can't truly afford? Often, it's not because they need them. It's because they want to look successful in front of others. Psychologists call this social comparison. We naturally compare ourselves to the people around us. When a neighbor buys a luxury car, or a friend posts pictures from an expensive vacation, we feel pressure to keep up. But here's the surprising part. Many people who appear wealthy are actually carrying enormous debt behind the scenes. The truly wealthy often play a completely different game. Take Warren Buffett as an example. Despite being one of the richest people in the world, he's famous for living below his means and making decisions based on long-term value instead of short-term appearance. While others chase status, he focuses on ownership. That mindset has helped him build extraordinary wealth over decades. Imagine planting 2 trees. One grows beautiful leaves almost immediately, attracting everyone's attention. The other spends years growing strong roots underground where no one can see them. At first, the first tree looks more impressive. But when a storm arrives, it's the tree with deep roots that survives. Money works the same way. Buying things to impress people creates temporary excitement. Building assets creates lasting security. So before making your next purchase, ask yourself one simple question. Will this make me look rich, or will it help me become rich? That one question can stop countless financial mistakes before they happen. But avoiding bad spending habits is only half the battle. The real breakthrough comes when you understand what wealthy people buy instead of liabilities. And that's exactly where the next lesson takes us. Into the simple but life-changing secret of assets that quietly build real wealth while everyone else is busy chasing paychecks. Chapter 3. How assets quietly build real wealth. What if the wealthiest people aren't buying better things? They're buying things that buy them even more things. That idea sounds almost too simple, yet it separates people who spend their lives working from those who eventually reach financial freedom. Imagine 2 neighbors. Every month, both have a little money left after paying their bills. One uses it to finance the newest gadgets, designer clothes, and a luxury car. The other uses that same money to buy stocks, invest in a small business, or purchase an asset that produces cash flow. At first, the first neighbor seems more successful. Their lifestyle looks impressive, but something fascinating is happening behind the scenes. Every month, one person's money is disappearing. The other person's money is multiplying. This is one of the most powerful lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Wealthy people focus on acquiring assets, while most people unknowingly collect liabilities. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. The difference sounds obvious, but most people never stop to ask which category their purchases actually belong to. Picture a small stream flowing into a lake. Every new asset is like adding another stream. One stream may not seem like much, but over time, several streams create a lake that never runs dry. That's how real wealth grows. Not through one lucky break, but through consistent ownership of income-producing assets. Here's the interesting part. Assets don't always start big. You don't need millions of dollars to begin thinking like an investor. It could be regularly investing in index funds, owning dividend-paying stocks, creating a digital product, starting a side business, or building skills that generate income long after the initial work is done. Think about someone who writes a best-selling book. They may spend months or even years creating it, but if the book continues selling for years afterward, that work keeps producing income. The effort happened once, but the rewards continue. This is why entrepreneurs like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos spent years building systems instead of simply earning salaries. They understood that ownership creates opportunities no paycheck ever can. While employees are paid for the hours they work, owners benefit from the value their assets continue creating. Most people don't realize that every dollar they earn has a job to do. It can either leave forever through spending, or it can become an employee that works for them day and night. The more financial employees you create, the less you depend on your own time to survive. So here's today's challenge. The next time money enters your hands, don't immediately think about what you can buy. Ask yourself, can this dollar become an asset before I spend it? That small shift changes everything. Because once your assets begin working for you, you'll discover the final lesson. The mindset shift that transforms money from something you constantly chase into something that gradually starts chasing you. Chapter 4. The mindset shift that changes everything. What if becoming wealthy has less to do with the size of your bank account and everything to do with the person you become along the way? This is the final lesson, and it's the one that ties everything together. Imagine two people facing the exact same opportunity. One immediately says, "I can't afford it." The other pauses and asks, "How can I afford it?" At first, those two sentences seem almost identical, but psychologically, they couldn't be more different. The first statement shuts the mind down. It accepts limits without a fight. The second statement forces the brain to search for solutions. It sparks creativity, curiosity, and action. This is exactly how wealthy people train themselves to think. They don't pretend problems don't exist. Instead, they refuse to let those problems become permanent excuses. Throughout Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki reminds us that your biggest investment is not real estate, stocks, or a business. It's your financial education. Markets change, jobs come and go, economies rise and fall, but the knowledge and skills you develop stay with you, allowing you to adapt no matter what happens. Think about Elon Musk. Before building companies that changed entire industries, he spent years learning. He read constantly, asked difficult questions, and developed skills across engineering, business, and technology. His greatest asset wasn't money. It was the ability to solve problems that others thought were impossible. Now imagine your mind as a garden. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and excuses, those ideas grow until they block every opportunity. But if you plant curiosity, discipline, patience, and continuous learning, those habits slowly produce opportunities that didn't exist before. Here's what most people don't realize. Wealth isn't built in a single decision. It's built through hundreds of small decisions that no one notices. Reading one more book, learning one new skill, investing one more dollar, asking one better question, choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. These choices may seem insignificant today, but over the years, they create extraordinary results. The biggest lesson from this book isn't simply to earn more money. It's to become the kind of person who knows how to create, protect, and grow money. Once you develop that mindset, wealth becomes a natural outcome instead of a constant struggle. So before this video ends, ask yourself one final question. Are you building a life that depends on your next paycheck? Or are you building a future where your knowledge, your assets, and your decisions create freedom for years to come? Your financial future won't be decided tomorrow. It's being shaped by the choices you make today. The moment you stop working only for money and start making money work for you is the moment your life begins to change. And that journey doesn't start with a bigger paycheck. It starts with a bigger mindset.